You want me to be honest? I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm fuming. I'm on fire. I'm mad because I care more about you than you care about me, and that's how it's always fucking gone! I'm tired of it! I'm mad! I'm angry! I'm tired of feeling so much! I'm tired of being in my head! I hate it!
Why? It's why?
Look at this. We are starting right out of the gate with a masterclass in self-sabotage and the absolute delusion of infinite time. This woman is sitting here literally crying into a bowl of fruit, asking the universe, why? Like, why? Because a guy she ignored for an entire freaking year finally moved on and got a girlfriend? When did modern dating convince women that men are just non-playable characters, NPCs in a video game, standing frozen in the village square, waiting for you to press X to interact with them 365 days later?
Guys, what we're witnessing here is a classic psychological phenomenon called the paradox of choice, heavily amplified by dating app algorithms. And yes, statistics show that on major dating platforms, women swipe right on only about 4 to 5% of the men, while men swipe right heavily. Guys, this creates an artificial inflation of ego. It gives many women the subconscious toxic belief that they have a never-ending buffet of options and an infinite timeline to actually make a decision. This lady didn't put this guy on ice because she was busy. Hell freaking no. She put him on ice because she wanted to keep him as a backup plan, a safety net, while she hopped around and fooled around. But then again, she got fucked around.
Men are human beings with their own timelines, emotional needs, and self-respect. Her tears aren't actually about losing him. If she wanted him, she had 365 days to send a hello text. Her tears are rooted in loss aversion and the sudden, jarring realization that she is not the center of his universe. She lost her power over him, and her ego is bruised. You cannot treat a man's time like it's worthless and then play the victim when he realizes his own value and gives it to a woman who actually gives a shit.
That little girl talk, okay? If you like a guy, the absolute best thing you can do is friend zone him. I am so dead serious about this. But Nikki, I don't want to put him in the friend zone because I really like him. I understand. But the problem with liking someone is that you give them too much credit before they even prove themselves to you. And also, you don't actually really get to know them. You just like this idea of them in your head. But if you friend zone them, then you're actually getting to know the person and see if you really like them. And you get to see if they're persistent enough to try to get out of the friend zone. I wish I knew that sooner because I feel like I would have been less weirder on my crushes if I just friend zoned them.
Which brings us perfectly to Nikki's absolute train wreck of girl talk advice, which perfectly explains why the girl in clip 1 thought ignoring a guy was a good idea. Nikki is literally sitting on the internet telling millions of young women, if you like a guy, the absolute best thing you can do is friend zone him. This is the exact moment where dating transforms from a genuine human connection into manipulative Machiavellian game playing. Nikki is advocating for the deliberate, tactical use of the friend zone to test a man's persistence. Let's break down the staggering cognitive dissonance here. Modern society, and rightly so, has spent the last decade teaching men that no means no. We have drilled into men's heads that if a woman says she just wants to be friends, you respect her boundaries, you back off, and you do not relentlessly pursue her because that is creepy, boundary violating, and borderline stalker behavior. Yet, here is Nikki, a product of modern dating culture, telling women to weaponize that exact boundary as a shit test.
This is wild. She wants the guy to jump through the hoops, stay in her orbit, and prove himself, while completely suppressing his own romantic intentions. This is so freaking sad. Psychologically, this is a form of covert manipulation. It requires the man to put his own emotional health on hold, to serve as an unpaid emotional fluffer until she decides he's worthy. And if a guy actually follows Nikki's script and persistently tries to break out of the friend zone, half of these women will run to TikTok and complain about a weird guy who can't take a hint. Honestly, you cannot demand that a man respect your boundaries and simultaneously use those boundaries as an obstacle course to test their loyalty. Just in case you don't know, it is shitty, it is unfair, and it sets both genders up for miserable failure.
You're very deep, brain.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
No, shut. Please. Let me talk.
You have good night.
No, but we can be friends. You don't want to be my friend.
You know, I'm 40 years old. I ain't got time for that fool.
Now, let's look at what happens when a man finally wakes up to these toxic games. Enter Chad at the restaurant. This 40-year-old absolute legend deserves a standing ovation. The woman drops the classic, sanitized rejection line. We're very different. She's gearing up for the 20-minute monologue where she lets him down gently, tells him he's a great guy, and secures him in the friend zone orbit Nikki just recommended. But Chad is 40. He knows the statistics. The average male life expectancy in the US is roughly 73 to 76 years. He is mathematically past the halfway point of his life. He literally ain't got time for this shit. He drinks his drink, stands up, and says, "That's all I need to know." Notice her reaction. She panics. No, Chad, please let me talk. Why is she panicking? Because Chad is denying her the opportunity to manage her own guilt. When women reject men but demand to stay friends or talk it out, it is rarely for the man's benefit. It is an act of self-preservation to ensure they don't feel like the bad guy.
Now, this is absolutely beautiful. By walking away, this guy exercises radical self-respect because this woman actually wanted to keep the emotional validation that he provided without giving him the romantic relationship that he was seeking. And thus, the guy established a boundary. He said, "I'm here for romance. If you're not, the transaction is over." And good for him. Men in their 30s and 40s are increasingly opting out of this exhausting circus because the return on investment for playing these prolonged dating games is entirely bankrupt.
A man refused to walk his friend back to her dorms when she felt unsafe, all because she rejected him once. In his Reddit post, the man explained that he'd been friends with a woman named Annie for the last 3 years. On a typical Saturday night, he, Annie, and some of their friends would hang out, and then he would walk her back to her dorm before heading back to his dorm. However, about a month ago, he realized he had feelings for Annie and asked her out on a date. She friend-zoned him. It didn't bother him too much, however, he did want to cut back on their friendship a bit. But he has stopped walking her back to her dorm. The first couple of weeks, she walked on her own. One week, she asked him to walk her back because she was scared to walk alone at midnight, especially while drunk. He told her to get an Uber or to ask someone else because he was too tired. While it's understandable that he would want to cut back on their friendship a bit after being rejected, a friendship shouldn't be conditional on romantic interest and reciprocation. It's as if he suddenly stopped caring about her safety and well-being because she didn't return his romantic feelings. The man has been accused of exhibiting nice guy behavior. Acting kind, but then believing he deserves a relationship in return for his friendship. People on Reddit called him out, saying if he was truly friends with Annie, he would still care about her safety. He's more than welcome to work through his feelings, but that doesn't justify his actions and his complete disrespect towards Annie. He blatantly showed that their friendship doesn't mean much after his ulterior motive was void. Gentlemen, don't be that guy. A woman doesn't owe you anything in exchange for friendship.
And finally, we arrive at the absolute pinnacle of modern dating hypocrisy. The story of Annie, the late night dorm walk, and the ultimate gaslighting of a man who simply instituted the boundaries Chad just displayed. Let's get the facts straight. The guy liked Annie. He asked her out. Annie, exercising her total right as a human being, friend-zoned him. The guy, acting like a mature adult, accepted the rejection, didn't throw a fit, but decided to strategically withdraw some of his time and energy to get over his feelings. This is a psychologically healthy response. But then, Annie gets drunk at midnight, gets scared, and demands he come out to act as her unpaid personal bodyguard to walk her back to her dorm. When he says no, the internet labels him a toxic nice guy who thinks women owe him a relationship in exchange for friendship. Are you freaking kidding me? The commentator literally says, "Gentlemen, don't be that guy. A woman doesn't owe you anything in exchange for friendship." Okay, let's flip that logic right back around with some brutal equality. A man does not owe you boyfriend-level protection and late-night security services in exchange for being friend-zoned. This is a glaring example of weaponized incompetence and sheer entitlement. Modern radical feminist rhetoric often champions absolute independence and the dismantling of traditional gender roles until it's midnight, it's dark outside, and there is a physical threat. Suddenly, the script flips, and Annie wants the traditional protective masculine gender role from a man she just rejected. She wants the boyfriend-like benefits, the security, the emotional support, the on-demand loyalty on a basic friendship subscription. When men wake up to this and withdraw their resources, they are subjected to aggressive social shaming and gaslighting. Calling him a nice guy is a manipulative, shaming tactic designed to force him back into compliance. It's an attempt to control his reaction to rejection. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. You cannot reject a man's romantic advances and then feel entitled to the very resources, his physical presence, protection, and priority that come packaged with a romantic relationship. The guy told her to get an Uber. That is not toxic. That is a logical, commonsensical consequence of her choice to keep him strictly as a friend. Friends tell friends to get Ubers at midnight when they are tired. Boyfriends get out of bed to walk you home. You chose the friend, you get the friend treatment.
What I'll have to say is this. Modern dating is broken because we are tolerating this massive imbalance of accountability. Men are constantly told to step up, do better, and respect boundaries, while an entire subculture of women on social media are being coached to ignore men, use the friend zone as a psychological torture chamber, demand male resources without reciprocation, and cry victim. When men finally say, I ain't got time for this shit, I think it's about time that we stop gaslighting men for having basic self-respect and start holding these toxic dating strategies accountable. Because just in case you don't know, it is total bullshit. Well, guys, let me know in the comment section. When you decide to quit the friend zone as a guy, do you still keep giving the whole boyfriend level energy to that relationship? Guys, put your thoughts in the comment section below because I know that a lot of people want to learn from each other. But then again, guys, till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because, guys, we're just getting started.